Bravo, take one.
Ready. And action!
People tend to think that they know history, especially with very famous stories like Anne Frank's story. But with me, you're coming at it from a sideways angle that forces you to see it from a different lens.
Miep Gies was Otto Frank's secretary at the company he started in Amsterdam after he fled Germany. Miep was a young girl in her 20s when he asked her to hide his family.
You need to take your time to think it through.
No, I don't. What do I do?
We wanted to tell the story of the ordinary people who did these extraordinary things.
These incredibly banal issues that come up just in the life of being a young woman are juxtaposed with these really high stakes.
What would you have me do when Mr. Frank asked? Say no!
Ask me.
I didn't think I had to consult you before deciding to save a person's life.
It was really important for us to make this story feel modern and relevant, to sort of wipe the cobwebs off it.
What you've got to remember is that even though these big historical moments were going on, Miep's marriage problems weren't going to wait until the war was over. Experiencing growing from a girl to a woman wasn't going to wait until the war was over.
You know what your problem is? You don't have a sense of humour.
Because what I just said was really funny.
Tony and Joan have really captured that brilliantly, the humanity of the situation, the realness of what these people were actually going through.
Looks so beautiful, and Jan looks so handsome. Why are you being so sappy all of a sudden?
It's not told through a documentary point of view.
Margot might be older, but I am more emotionally sophisticated.
Anne's story is definitely relevant today because racism and anti-Semitism is still happening in this world. Different format, but it's still happening.
Background!
It just felt like the right story at the right time. To have a story that speaks so profoundly about compassion, the similarities with what it was like to be a young person back then and what it is like to be a young person now.
So you couldn't keep your mouth shut once. I'm the crown princess of not being able to keep her mouth shut.
We shot outside the Frank apartment, and I took that opportunity to just say, let's all just take a minute to recognize the task ahead of us, how we can honor those people who sacrificed themselves.
If we turn away someone we know we can help, we become people we don't recognize, and we don't exist anymore.
It's a great mission of the show to kind of make people look around them and look at their own world differently.
Miep's message was always, I am not special. You can do this as well. Anybody has it within them to do this, to make a difference in someone's life.
Boom! A Small Light premieres Monday, May 1st on National Geographic, the day after on Disney+. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. And as you see on the screen, I'm so delighted to have some special guests. Billie Boullet, as well as Ashley Brooke, a.k.a. Anne and Margot Frank, in this amazing series. Thank you both so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Of course.
So delightful. You guys are amazing in this. This is so heavy in subject matter, but you did a tremendous job in those efforts. I'm very curious as an actor myself as well. I've had to portray real life historical icons like this before. How was that for you? Because I know there could be a weight when you have to do something like that. What was it like for you both portraying these amazing iconic characters?
Well, for me, stressful at first, not stressful, but overwhelming because everybody knows who Anne is. And, you know, she's a real person. It's somebody that you have to digest that it's a person that everybody knows, and you have to go into the research and try and make it as truthful as possible. So, I mean, I audiobooked her diary many times, and I read through it and had some people read the diary to me so I could hear it from like audio version instead of just in my head. But it was overwhelming, I'd say. But Anne is an amazing person, so strong and so powerful, and it was great to step into somebody like that because you get to take that away with you. You get to feel stronger and more powerful when you play a character like that or person like that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For me, I didn't know that Anne had a sister before working on this project. So when I first was auditioning, I read Meep's account, and Frank remembered. And I also obviously read the diary. And Anne's diary had been in my room since I was a really young kid, but I just didn't remember that she had a sister. And so I read it all through, but then I also tried to remember that those are just perspectives of Margot. And Margot had her own diary herself. So I always try to go back to if Margot's diary was published, what was said in that. And so what I did as part of my process was I would go through Anne's diary and I would write out Margot's perspective of what was going on during those moments. I also think relatability factor, my grandma is a Holocaust survivor, so I was also able to watch her story when I got this role, which was so special. And I think that, you know, her story talks a lot about like the moments of hope that she had in her life, and that just brought me back to everything that was going on with the Frank family and Meep, how much hope she created in their lives, even through this complete fearful time. So that also helped me kind of step into Margot's shoes too. It was a lot of, you know, research-based, hearing other people's testimonies of the Holocaust, and then just stepping into their shoes as best as possible.
Wow. Well, you guys, again, like I said, both did amazing in your performances. A lot like yourself, as you were saying, you didn't maybe know like this. She had a sister. Yeah. I didn't know about Meep Geese, who, you know, this whole series kind of follows. So I actually started Googling after I watched the series and wanting to know more. And because I live in the DC area, I'm now planning a trip to revisit the Holocaust Museum just to see if they paid any tributes to her and learn more again. What do you both individually hope when people watch this series, the message that they get from this film and your characters and your portrayals? Back to you.
I really hope that they take the message that hope is everywhere. It's not always to find, but you have to get it. I mean, for Anne specifically, I found that her hope was through her diary, and I think that's really shown, and obviously you can read it and you can see the hope throughout it. And, you know, for Otto Frank, his hope was through Meep, protecting his family, letting them try to survive and live through this awful time. And through Meep, I think her hope was, as in my perspective wise, I think her hope was within herself. So you can find hope anywhere. I think the hardest one is to find hope within yourself. And I mean, Meep was 23 and she was able to do that. And I find that fascinating, and I am in awe of her that she was able to do that. And obviously she had a husband, which she relied on as well, but she was such a strong young woman, and, you know, so mature to be able to do that. And I really hope that people will be able to see that even through this such a tough time, and at any age. I mean, Anne, 13, 23, and then Otto is so much older than all of them, and each of them had a different way of having hope. So it doesn't matter where you are in your life. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can find hope. You just have to fight for it. And that's really what I want people to take away from it.
I think there's so much to take away from this story. For me, specifically, I think that Meep is such a courageous young woman, and she stood up for the Frank family. And to me, it really makes me wonder, what would I have done if I was in her shoes? And also, it makes me think, what can I do now with anti-Semitism on the rise and helping communities that need it? And I think as actresses, it's stories like these that really are so impactful for us to work on. They're so inspiring. And I took, you know, the message of love in our story. There's a message of persistence, resilience. I think the Frank family, even during this complete dark period, they're still able to find some hope. They're celebrating Hanukkah when your religion was, you know, you didn't like. Yeah, exactly. So there's a message of resilience in our story, and I think that there's so much that you can take from this story and put into our current climate.
And the show, like A Small Light, really does show that. They show the hope, they show the resilience, they show the ups and downs of this story. And, you know, it's not just downs, there is upsides to it. They're still living their life. They still have many, many years. They don't spend every single day completely on a down, you know. I think, like, within our show, we show a moment of them celebrating Hanukkah, and it's such a heartfelt moment. And I remember during that scene, I wasn't even acting. I mean, I was I was within that moment, and I was just like, this is so warm and it's so nice. And I love that a small light got to show that aspect of it, because it's amazing, and it really lets the viewers see their whole lives and be able to see these two families that didn't always get along well with each other come together on a special moment in hiding and be able to be together with it.
Completely agree. Both of you, bravo, well done. Everybody, check out A Small Light when it debuts in May on National Geographic as well as Disney+. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
All right, listen to me. You can't go back. You can't run. And you can't show any fear. Let's do this.
I hear they're cracking down on the Jews. That must be scary.
We have to hide our allegiances, or else we're not going to make it.
Meep, what I'm asking you to do is dangerous. If you get caught, you could get arrested, or even worse. I need your help hiding my family. You need to take your time to think it through.
No, I don't. What do I do?
Can I help you?
Tell me where I can find Otto Frank. So you're going to tell me?
He's my boss and my friend. What would you have me do when Mr. Frank asked? Say no!
Ask me.
I didn't think I had to consult you before deciding to save a person's life.
People have lost everything, and still they resist. And I have to resist too. We're going to start a fire.
I need to remember that things were good so I can believe that they'll be good when this is over.
We have to choose when we fight them. We don't let them choose for us.
My only job is to protect my family.
Did you hear that? The Queen wants my diary.
And I can't wait to see it.
Get down!
Have your heads.
We can't save everyone.
But if I don't try, I don't think I'll be able to live with myself.
Turn darkness into